Namaste and welcome to this Vata pacifying class. Please find a comfortable sitting position where your sitting bones are supported, the weight is equally distributed down through both sides of the pelvis. Place your hands with the mudra of index finger into the root of the thumb wrapping around the index finger, and the palms facing down. This is Gyan Mudra, the mudra of knowledge, and the downward direction of the palms is grounding and nourishing to Vata. Please close your eyes. Begin to slow your breath down, making a conscious choice of creating space and of creating a time and carving out this time that is nourishing, sacred, loving, and safe for yourself. As you exhale, consciously release any accumulated tension, any stress or strain, any agitation in the nervous system. Allow the tiny muscles of your face to relax, the jaw to release. Welcome in a wave of relaxation down through the throat, through the shoulders, through the upper, mid, and lower back. And soften your belly. Observe the breath moving in and the breath moving out. And then keeping the eyes closed, if that feels comfortable for you, inhale, draw the shoulders up towards the ears, squeeze, 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 and exhale, releasing back and down. And continue with this shoulder rotation. Often Vata types can hold a lot of tension in their neck, their shoulders, carry worry or anxiety through the back. So coordinate your breath. Slow, steady Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. And then reverse the direction of movement. Inhale as the shoulders come back and up, and exhale as they move forward and down. Because Vata is air and ether, it's a lot of movement, a lot of wind. Through our asana practice, it's important that we move slowly and have a lot of stillness so that we can really feel the contact that we have with the earth and to slow the mind and the nervous system down. So pausing your motion now. And if it feels too agitating to have the eyes closed, then have the eyes open, but gently, just a soft gaze. Breathe here in the center, and exhale, turn your face over to the right. Inhale as you glide back through the middle, and exhale, turning to look in the other direction. And then a seamless movement from side to side, tapping into the qualities of ease, smoothness, grace. Because Vata is so dry, light, and rough, we really want to bring an oily, silky, smooth quality into our practice. Smoothing out any jerky movements, any quick transitions, letting everything have a lot more space. And the next time your head comes back to center, leaving it there. Bring the hands to your heart. Take a few deep breaths here, feeling the connection of the right palm to the left, uniting the two aspects, the Ida and Pingala, the male and female aspects of our being, so that these energies may be in balance. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. You can come off any height that you've been using to support yourself and come onto the hands and the knees. If you have issues in the wrists, you can be on the fingertips, a couple of fists, or even on the forearms. Begin with a tabletop spine, a flat back. Come back to your breath. And then inhale, tip the tail towards the ceiling, allow the belly to dip down, allowing the heart, and then the gaze only to lift to a neutral. And then exhaling, tucking the tail, moving in the opposite direction. And carrying on at your own pace. So in our Vata pacifying classes, we don't want to lift the gaze or the head high. That will increase prana Vata. We're really wanting to focus on apana vayu, that downward moving, grounding energy. Keep your jaw released as you move mindfully through the movement. And watch, you might notice that the body is conditioned habitually to lift the head up. See if you can be fully present in it and explore all of the articulation through the spine. And then coming back to neutral after this final motion. Take a pause here. Notice your spine. And as you breathe in, float your right arm out to the side. Exhale, the back of the hand slides all the way through, coming onto the shoulder, gently relaxing the head down. Now you can stay here with the hand on the floor support, or you might like to take the hand all the way around to the opposite thigh or onto the lower back. Or another option to increasify intensity here, not that we're looking for intensity, but if there's a deeper stretch that your body is wanting, you can extend your left leg back and feel the spiral through the body. Breathe here, fully into the upper back, into the shoulders. Notice how your breath feels. And then ever so slowly start to bring yourself back out of the posture. Inhale as you come back up to neutral. Pause. And preparing for the second side. Wait for the inhalation to come to lift the left arm up. And exhale, glide the back of the hand under and through, all the way through until your shoulder rests gently. Finding the variation that feels right for you. It might even be different on the second side. The most important aspect is welcoming the fullness of the breath in without any strain. So if we're forcing the breath, if we're taking too deep of a breath, which can be typical of many pitta types, overexerting, trying too hard, it's finding that place that is just right. A nice full breath without any strain so that the nervous system does not get dysregulated. Breathe into the upper back. Soften on the exhalation. And then coming back, engage the support of your core to help you return to neutral. Take your right knee a little bit towards the center line of your mat. Engage the support of your core. And inhale, float the left leg back and up, parallel to the floor, so not too high. You want to have your iliac crest, the front of the hip bones there, facing the earth. And if you feel steady, you can reach the opposite arm up and away. Keep the shoulders relaxed and lots of space around the ears. Spread the back toes. Feel an internal rotation through the back thigh. And exhale, lengthen and lower the limbs back down. Bring the other knee a little bit more to the center. Wait for your exhalation. And then when the inhalation comes, float the right leg back and up, keeping the relationship between your head and your tailbone absolutely integrated. How can your breath support you here? And then exhale, lowering the hand and the knee down. Have your big toes touching. Take your knees wide on your mat and sitting back into a wide leg child's pose, either with your arms extended in front or even resting under the forehead. In our Vata pacifying classes, we really want to focus on forward folds, postures that massage the colon, the lower belly area, and also extend the lower back, but very gently. Very deep back bones can actually aggravate the nervous system and deplete our kidney energy and our adrenal energy. Breathing here. Notice what happens to the mind as you come into stillness. Does it ramp up? Does it follow suit and start to slow down? Just notice without any form of judgment. And also staying close to the ground is really wonderful for Vata. On your next inhalation, begin to roll up, coming onto the hands and the knees. Slowly take your time, especially if you tend to get dizzy. Moving mindfully. Close your eyes here in Vajrasana for a few moments. And then taking your time to slowly walk forward onto the forearms and extending legs behind, coming down gently onto the belly. Have your elbows directly under the shoulders for Sphinx, finger bones spread, and anchoring your palms of the hand into the floor so you can lift the navel, the sternum, keeping the shoulders down, and again, head neutral. So we're not taking the gaze up really high, even slightly down, feeling the elongation through the back of the neck. Breathe into the lower back here. This is a beautiful supported back bend. And sometimes Vata can be quite brittle in their bones. They can be tight or rigid, or in the other extreme, they can be really hypermobile. But creating strength and stability and softening the rigidity is really crucial. One more breath. As you exhale, lengthen forward as you lower. Turn your head to the right, and then take your right knee directly out to the side at about a 90-degree angle. Take your upper body, walk the upper body into a beautiful C curve over towards the knee so that your elbow and knee come together and touch. If they don't, that's fine. The most important thing is that this posture is comfortable. This is a restorative pose and one that you can do in your classes or for yourself without any props. As you move out of flapping fish on the first side, see if you can move in slow motion. Take all the time that you need to return to a neutral spine, head and tail in one long line, and then opening the opposite knee to the side and walking your elbow over towards the knee, resting the head on the hands. Breathe through the entire side body and relax. Take one more breath here. Pass back through neutral. Place your forehead on two stacked hands and just let your pelvis shift, wiggle from side to side. Even though the home side of Vata is in the colon, Vata accumulates in all of the spaces of the body. Lots of room in the pelvis, the hips, lower back area. Vata can accumulate, create pain. And then relaxing into stillness. Place your hands under the shoulders. Tuck the toes. Lift the weight of the front of your pelvis and invite it back into child's pose, this time with the knees closer together and the arms extended. Reach your fingertips away from you and all the way over to the right. Feeling a beautiful side stretch through your body. Make sure your jaw stays relaxed. Notice where you tend to hold in the body and bring loving attention to those areas. And if you feel that the mind is really busy, just mentally repeat to yourself, the breath is moving in, the breath is moving out. And then walk your hands all the way over to the other side. Exaggerate the reach through the right fingertips. And then walk your hands to center. Come back up to the hands and the knees. And stepping into a squat position. Now, if this feels uncomfortable for your hips, for your knees, you can either use a bolster and rest your sitting bones there, or you can roll up a mat and put it underneath your ankles, or heels rather. Bring your palms and fingertips together. Elongate through your spine. Keep the reach up through your spine and breathing down into the hips and the pelvis. While we're here in this squat, I'm going to teach you two different marma points. The marma points are 107 essentially acupressure points where they are doorways into consciousness. So we'll gently take the thumb to the inner ridge, right where your eyebrow line starts, and then the other thumb on the other side and resting the head, but you're not pushing. The weight of the contact between the thumb and the skin is about the weight of a dime. It's very light. And on the right side, we're contacting the liver energy, and on the left, the spleen. So liver is called yakrut in Sanskrit, and spleen is pliha. Keep the breath low in the belly, supporting Apana Vayu, this downward moving force. Take one more breath here. Notice any sensations at those pressure points. And then tip the weight of your body forward. Bring your feet parallel. Bend your knees considerably here until your belly button and thighs touch. Grab opposite elbows and flow into gravity. Use the exhalation to let go. If this feels too intense, you can always rest the elbows on the thighs above the knees. Now release your fingertips either beside your pinky toes or on your shins. Inhale halfway up, keeping the gaze at the floor, long through the neck and the spine. And exhale, relax over the thighs. And again, inhale halfway up, nice and slow. And exhale, folding over the thighs. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Allow your arms to dangle, nice and loose. Contact down through the big toe mounds. Begin to tip your tailbone towards your heels, unraveling through the torso, keeping your organs close to your body. Slowing it down even more. Arms loose. Let the head be the very last thing to arrive. Take a few moments here in Tadasana. Toes are wide. As much of the contact that you can have with the sole of the foot to your mat, the better. So just let everything spread. That means you need a juicy quality through the ankles and the knees. Nothing locked, easy, soft. All of the joints, allow them space. Space in the ankles, the knees, the hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Allow there to be equal expansiveness through the front of the chest and through your back body. Become aware of the placement of your head and also your eyes, your gaze. Have your gaze along the horizon, so not drop down or not looking up, just very neutral. The eyes are the only exposed part of the nervous system, and by focusing on one thing gently, this will help to soothe the nervous system. So this is our drishti focus. Bring the mind into the body. And shifting the weight onto the right foot. Bring your left foot to the inner ankle, inner calf or inner thigh, coming into Trikonasana. In Trikonasana, allowing this balance to be your groundedness, sending your roots down into the earth from the sole of your foot, down, down, down. And I'd suggest for this Vata pacifying class to keep your hands either at the heart or on the hips. The minute we lift them up, we become less stable. So here we're focusing on Apanavayu, that downward moving action, and of stabilizing. And coming back to 2 feet. Exhale. A mindful shift of weight to the other foot. Take your time. So maybe you're just here, foot on the floor, focusing on exhaling down into the earth. This can be a beautiful place just to practice and go no further. But if it feels appropriate for you today, you can lift the foot up. to the place that you can contact your stability. And then coming back to 2 feet. Exhale, pause. And then come up towards the top of your mat. Have both feet together. And think about dancing through these next movement. Seamless, easy. Inhale, floating your right leg up. Leaning forward, exhale. Step the ball of the foot back. Keep your shoulders over the hips. And floating the arms up, allowing the arm bones to spiral around all the way up to the pinky fingers. That way you won't get caught up in your shoulders. The upper back stays wide. Again, we're keeping the gaze neutral today. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Place your right hand alongside the front foot. It can also be on a block. And we're going to spiral the chest to the side. And your back hand can stay on your back hip or elongate. And again, avoid that temptation to lift your head up today. Just keeping the gaze to the side or even down to your front foot. As you inhale, lengthen through the chest. And as you exhale, feel the spiral coming all the way from your navel. On your next exhalation, carving your top hand down and stepping into downward facing dog or child's pose, depending how you feel. And if you're in downward facing dog, pedaling the feet, one heel to the floor, bend the other knee. And then pressing up to the balls of the feet. Keep the heels high and the pelvis high. And stepping your right foot in between the hands. Stay on the ball of the back foot. Engage your core support. Wait for the inhalation to come, and when it does, floating up. If this feels too unstable in Crescent Lunge, place your back knee on the floor. Relax your shoulders. There's a line of energy from the back of your heart up to the pinky fingers. Bringing the hands down together. Placing your left fingertips on a block or onto the ground. Elongate first through your spine and exhale, begin to rotate to the side. Keep your right hip drawing back, inner thighs gathering towards one another. And then exhale, taking the right hand all the way down and stepping into child's pose, Balasana. Resting here. Find the most comfortable variation of child's pose that you can. As you breathe in, feel the expansion of the belly into the thighs and this massaging of the colon. This is also really good for the female reproductive system and any imbalance in the female reproductive system. And Balasana is such a pose of surrender, of releasing, of letting go, and of feeling safe, supported by the earth. It's important that Vata feels comfortable and safe. And contacting the earth element and that stability, whether that be through a container of routine, of regularity, this can be very useful for relaxing the nervous system for everybody, whether you're Vata dominant or not. Take one more breath here. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Slowly, slowly begin to roll up. Now shift your weight over to the left. Extend the legs out in front. Give your legs a little bit of a wiggle, a little shake. Coming into Parsvakonasana, move the flesh of the buttocks back and away. You can even sit on a bolster or a block here. Hook your heels into your mat. Bend the knees slightly. So some of you, it might be a little bit. For you, it might be a lot. Wherever you need to be so that your spine can stay really long. Inhale. Exhale, we're moving from here. Imagine the grommet of the pelvis just spinning you forward opposed to collapsing. Think of the initial stages of this posture as a back bend. So even though we're folding forward at the base, we're gently lifting up and back through the front body. And bring your head into alignment. Spread the toes. Gather the pinky toes back towards your shoulders. The idea here is that the head and the tail are in one long line, opposed to just collapsing into an old habit or pattern through the back. Now take a really beautiful deep breath in. And as you exhale, lengthen and elongate over the legs. Relax your head, your arms, bend the knees as much as you need. As you breathe in, see if you can get a little bit longer through your spine, and as you breathe out, a little bit deeper in your relaxation. And then slowly unravel. Bring your hands behind you for support. Place your feet about mat width apart and let your knees tip from one side to the other. Opening through the hips and the lower back. All right, we're going to slowly and easily make our ways down onto the back. Engage the support of your core. If it feels too much for your back, use your hands on the floor. Otherwise, guide yourself down mindfully. Once you've arrived, hug your knees into your chest. Thank your body. Thank you, body. Thank you for your strengths. Thank you for doing all of the activities that you do without me even having to focus on them. My digestion, elimination, circulation, trillions of things moment to moment to keep me in existence. Thank you, body. And keep the knees folded into the chest. Begin to circle the knees. So you can circle the knees together, or you can let the knees separate and make their own large individual circles. Find out what feels best for your back and for your hips. And then go in the opposite direction. And lower both of your feet onto the floor. Take your left ankle across your right thigh, flex at the ankle joint, and then reach behind the back of your right thigh, drawing the thigh closer in towards your body. Take one more breath. And releasing. And switching your feet. Be very respectful as you enter the second side. It might feel very different. There may be a lot more space, or perhaps less. Really be honoring of wherever your body's at today. Dr. Ladd says, we must treat Vata like a delicate flower. And because Vata does have the most delicate nervous system, it's really wise to be mindful of that and to tend to that and to work preventatively instead of waiting until you get frazzled or burnt out, overwhelmed or anxious. To keep the prana moving in a slow, fluid, and easy way. And that's what our yoga practice could do when really tailored to the practices that are pacifying to Vata. And also in the approach. It's not only the specific postures, but also how we're approaching it. What is the speed? What is our intention? The quality of our movement? Take one more breath here and release. Place both of your feet on your mat width apart, and then let your knees bend to touch each other. Take your arms up towards the ceiling and then cross one arm over the other. So you're hugging yourself. You're giving yourself a big hug from the front. Walk the fingers onto your back and breathe in this constructive rest pose. Check in with the state of your nervous system and how these postures that we've done have affected you. And inhale, float the arms up and cross the other one in front, on top, and hugging yourself one more time. Take one more deep breath. And then extending your legs, coming into Shavasana. Now you can stay here as long as you like. I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana. Typically for Vata, we want to have a longer Shavasana period. So whatever you can manage today. And also, if you have eye pillows, blankets, bolsters, anything at all to make sure that you're warm enough and that you feel cozy, that you feel supported, that you feel loved in your Shavasana position. So whatever that may be for you today is perfect. Namaste.